So it's time to add some icons to our buttons and then go ahead and wrap up our profile page. So I personally love using this website called flaticon.com. It allows you to access millions of vector icons and stickers that you can use for free as long as you give the correct attribution to the authors or the creators of those icons. And it's great because you can search for things. Let's say you're working on a profile icon, you can search profile and you'll be hit with tons of profile icons and vectors and so on that you can download easily and use it in your project. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded the icons we need for our profile page, and I've put them in the icons folder for the resources of this lecture or this project. And under the profile page, you should be able to find these 5 SVG icons that we can use for our profile page buttons. But first things first, let's go ahead and set up a new state for our button so we can use that state for icons. And so this way we have buttons that allows for icons. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my component here, and then I'm going to go ahead and select it and create a new state like so. And we're going to call this one light version because we're going to make a light version of this one and call it icon left. So in this version, I'm going to go ahead and first select our background here while holding command. Go to our library and select that accent 3 color. For our button, I'm going to select accent 2 color. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the left here, somewhere over here for now. And then we're going to go ahead and drag one of those icons. Let's just do the account one over here and bring it. I'm going to bring it outside of here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just move this one, move it inside the button here. And we're going to go ahead and select both the rectangle and the icon, align it to the middle vertically, and I'm going to do the same thing with the button text as well, but that should already be centered. So I want this one to be 15 pixels from the left, and I want my button text to be 15 pixels from the icon. I think that looks good. Now for the icon, we're going to go ahead and also change the fill to that accent 2. Now because this is an SVG icon, we can change the color easily. That's not the case for PNG icons. So when you're using icons, it's best to use SVG for that reason. One last thing while we're here, let's go ahead and make sure our text over here is left aligned as well. And then we can go back and let's go back to our profile page, and I'm going to select each one and select the light version with an icon left. Whoops, do that same thing over here. Until all of them have that version. And I'm going to go ahead and change the button of this, or the button text here, to account. We're going to change this to payment, followed by order history, address, followed by, last but not least, logout. So while we have that payment button selected, I'm going to go ahead and select the account icon over here. And while you have that selected, let's go ahead and drag the credit card SVG in here. So now this got dragged into the button itself, which is what we want. And I'm going to place it directly on top of the profile icon, which is where we should have it, and then delete the profile or the account icon. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and assign it that accent 2 color. There we go. Now for the order history, same thing. Go ahead and select the account icon, make sure it's selected in the layers panel, and then drag this time.svg in here. Move it inside. And I'm very happy with the size of the icon, so make sure you have a similar size for your icons. This one's 22 by 22. Then go ahead and delete the other one. And of course, select it, go to colors, select accent 2. We're almost done here, 2 more buttons and we're good to go. So let's go ahead and select the account icon over here. Go to our folder and drag the pin.svg. Drag it over Now you can zoom in to make it a little bit easier to drag stuff around. There we go. Delete this one, select this one, and assign it an accent to color. And last but not least, select your account icon here, drag the logout SVG, and whoa, this one got pasted as a huge icon. Let's go ahead and lock the proportions here and change the width to 22 pixels. And we move it over here. That looks good. And now change this to accent 2. Go to layers panel, count, and delete. I'm just gonna make sure this one is centered because it looks a little bit off right now. So a little bit, and I think that's as center or as aligned to the middle as we can. So there we go. That's our buttons for the profile page. I think it looks good. We can go ahead and bring these down a little bit more. I think somewhere right here will look good. And maybe actually on second thought, I can add more spacing, maybe make it 20 pixels between them. And I think that's pretty good. Now, one thing to note is that because we made changes to these buttons and there were instances of components, we've overridden all of them. So while the icons itself won't change in between them, if we still go back to our or the state for this light version icon left, we can still change things. For example, we can change the location of the button and it will still change in that instance as well. So if at any point, let's say we decide to change the button background here, so we can always go back to our button here and still make that change. And because we haven't overridden the color of each instance, it will still go ahead and apply it to my page here. So feel free to play around and use the color that you like. I think I like this color over here, so I'm going to stick with this one instead of the light version. And this way I can go ahead and actually even change my text over here to remove this light version and just say icon left. So this is my kind of default button with an icon left. I think that looks good. We're going to come back in the next lecture and work on our payment page.